What's up guys, Trevor Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Wrench. Today, got another bourbon battle. This time, it's budget weeders. We're talking $25 and below. What we're gonna do, blind them up, taste through them, give my opinion on the nose, on the palate, rank which one I think's the best, and we'll see which one I think the best budget weeder is. So, bottles we're dealing with today. Larceny, small batch, 92 proof. Weller Special Reserve at 90 proof. Maker's Mark at 90 proof. And Rebel Yell 100 at 100 proof. This is gonna be an interesting lineup. We're just gonna see which one I like the best. But wait, before we go any further guys, be sure to go check out Into the AM. We're running super awesome deal. 3 for 60 graphic tees. We're doing 3 for 45 plain tees. If you use code Bourbon Wrench, you get 10% off that already discounted price. The more money you save means the more bottles of weeded bourbons you can get, especially these bottles because they're all budget, baby. Again, thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring today's video. Let's get into this flight. Glass A. Glass A, a little soft, a little bready, doughy, and a hint, just a tiny little hint of cherry there on the back. Nothing blowing me out of the water. Typically, these lower proof weeders are a bit softer, more delicate. They're a little more approachable for people who, you know, are put off by that rye spice. So, on the palate. On the palate, you're getting a little more of that cherry note coming through. Nice levels of sweetness. I actually really like that amount of sweetness that you're getting on it. Although you're not getting a whole lot of different notes though. It's kind of just this soft, cherry, a little bit of this breadiness going on, but that's about as far as it goes. So there's not a whole lot going on with that one. But what is there is pretty good. Glass B. Totally different. This one is so friggin' different than A. You're starting to get this roasted nut. It almost smells like a Jim Beam product or something, but none of these are Jim Beam. It's that type of nut. It's pretty dang nutty. If I didn't know better, I wouldn't even call this one a weeder. On the nose, I would say this is a lower proof Jim Beam product or something. On the palate, that ain't it, man. On the palate, it is just strictly nuts. And not nuts as in like, whoa, that's so nuts. It's more like all I'm tasting in my mouth is nut. And I don't want nuts. And it's not a good peanut. The peanut I was getting on the nose, that roasted peanut, no. This is like, I don't even know. Can you have a peanut that is ripe? Because that's what that tastes like. Just a not pleasant peanut on the palate. Maybe it's just young, and so you're getting youthful notes mixed with that peanut flavor. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Let's get into C. There's a funkiness going on, like weeders. That's a typical note. People say it has this weeder funk, this like bread, like a dough, like a sourdough type note going on. I'm kind of getting that on this one. And again, I'm getting a peanut note in the back. Not as strong as B was, but it is there. So it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. Again, on the palate, peanut. Granted, it is not as bad of a peanut as B was. I think C is just a more well done version of B. Though it's still not my favorite. That's not really, doing it for me all that much. But I can see that whatever B is, it just kind of missed the mark, whereas C kind of landed on the mark a little better. That's just my opinion on those. A lot of these don't really have that many notes to them. It's just kind of 1 or 2 notes, and then that's really it. It's soft. It kind of just, it goes down easy. For a lack of a better word, smooth. They're just kind of easy, approachable. I think these are good to learn flavor profiles, and especially if you're not into bourbon, this won't ruin you. This won't just burn the heck out of you. So, take it for what they are. They are budget weeders, so. All right, let's get into D. There we go. Finally, something that is kind of up my alley. This is melted candy. Melted caramel. vanilla, and it's a vanilla bomb. Super, super sweet. Still has that kind of weedy funk, that bread doughy thing going on again. But there's a nice level of that super candied, that super sweet vanillas and stuff on top of it. I quite enjoy that one. Again, on the palate, super sweet. Those caramels, vanillas really shine through. A little bit of cherry coming through too. But again, that's kind of it. You're dealing with those 3 flavors and then it's kind of done. It's kind of soft going down and then nothing. And that's just typical of a wheated bourbon, just soft, smooth, just nothing aggressive. So in these being budget wheaters, I couldn't imagine anything too complex, too over the top. All of these have been relatively tame, plain, just 1 or 2, 3 notes, and then that's it. But yeah, that's the first pass through. I'm gonna process everything, and then I'm gonna go back through them and pick my favorites. I think this one's gonna be the easiest one we've done so far. Before we go back through them, guys, if you're liking what you see, I challenge you, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, gently hit the bell notification to be notified when I release new videos, when I go live. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's go back through these guys, see which one my favorite is. Going back through these, I've already kind of narrowed it down. I can already tell you which 2 are in the bottom and which 2 are in the top. I'm gonna say B and C are in the bottom, A and D are in the top. So what we'll do, we're gonna go through B and C first, see which one is the loser. Yeah, it's a no-brainer, especially when you side by side them. I think B is just trying to get to where C is. It's just not quite there yet. It's not the worst thing I've ever had, but you know, it's not really for me. On the palate, it's much worse. I hate to be negative about something. The nose is better than the palate, and the nose isn't even that great. I just think it's too much of something. Like, it's too nutty. It's just, I don't know. I think it just missed the mark. I'm sorry. It didn't hit the bullseye for me. And then C, again, not my favorite. It's definitely better than B. It seems much more put together than B was. When I'm thinking of a wheater, I'm not really thinking peanut. I'm thinking much more sweeter, easier, and I think that peanut makes it a little more aggressive, unpleasant. I don't know. It's just, those 2 aren't particularly for me. Between A and D, A, really sweet, nice little cherry note there on the end. D, much more of that candied caramel vanilla. So I think I like the nose, again, better on A than I do the palate. A is a little bit too fresh, bright cherry for me. That's kind of the note that shines through the most, and it just seems a little bit too much for me. There's not enough of anything else going on for it, so. At least for D, it has an additional note or 2 going for it than A does. So I have my order. Let's just find out what these guys are. Last place was B. B was Rebel Yell 100. I mean, I don't know what the heck they were trying to do with it. It's just too nutty for me. I never try to be super negative and tell you not to try something. I prefer you to try it and formulate your own opinion. I know people like that one as a budget wheater, so, you know, in my opinion, I would probably get one of the other ones first. Third place was C. C was Larceny. Again, kind of nutty, which makes sense coming from Heaven Hill. I guess I wasn't expecting that level of nuttiness on a wheated product, but it did seem a little more refined, a little more put together than the Rebel Yell did. So if that's a little more your flavor profile, if that's more your jam, then definitely give that one a try. Just for me, it wasn't. Second place was A. A, Weller Special Reserve. Honestly, you know, this one gets a lot of hate because it's part of the Weller line, and in most places it's probably hard to get. Around me, it's relatively easy, but I know a lot of people can't get it. It gets a lot of hate for just being, you know, a tater bottle or whatever. it's fine, especially if you can get it around retail around $20. I mean, it's a fine bottle. There's not a whole lot going on with it. It has that sweet cherry note, that typical Buffalo Trace note, easy to get into, especially if you're a beginner. Definitely give that one a try if you can. But again, not a whole lot going on with it. It just seems to fall short. I would even venture to say that it has less going on than even Larceny did. It's just the flavor profile that Larceny had to offer wasn't really up my wheelhouse, so I did pick the sweeter of the two. So that leaves D as my number 1 spot, and that leaves Maker's Mark, which who would have ever thought that I picked Maker's Mark first? I know it's very polarizing. A lot of people aren't big into Maker's Mark. I think it's a love-hate relationship. I just happen to love it. So that being said, guys, that's my list. That's my order. Let me know what you guys think of these bottles. If you've tried them, let me know in the comments what you think of them. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Until next time, guys, I'm Trev Wilson. I will see you in the next video.